For Christmas this year, the week of Christmas, I went to Arizona, as I'd mentioned in the last video, because I have we have a family friend that lives down there, and my best friend lives in Arizona with his family, and I can stay with them. And I didn't get to go during the summer because of COVID. So I went this winter, like on Christmas Day, which was different because I didn't spend Christmas with my family, but his. And I wanted to work on the 20-gallon that I had set up in there in the past. And it had like two waterfall things, and I was like, this bottom one is pointless. Like, let's remove it. And he was like, yeah, that makes sense. So we went to the Home Depot, and as you can see, we got stuff, or I got stuff. So I got a razor blade and some razor blade knife things and some Gorilla Glue for whatever, some reason, I don't know, which wasn't what I wanted, but yeah. And then I started work on the tank. So this process is relatively straightforward. Basically, this is a 20-gallon long tank. It's divided into three sections with a piece of plexiglass that's really high in the tank, and then one that's just like oddly in the middle. And I shouldn't have put it in the middle. I should have also put it rather high, so then it would have had more space in each section, but we didn't do that. So I'm now removing it, so then it's just divided into two sections. Come look. Goodness.
It's up. Oh, wow.
It's really covered the bottom. I'm going to cut this off. So I cut off where it was connected in the front and the bottom, but I couldn't get to the back because it's expanding. There's expanding foam around it. So basically, I just had to bend the plexiglass until the silicone slipped off of it, and then it finally got out, which I ended up like cutting my fingers on the plexiglass, which was fun because we had cut it ourselves. And that was fun, but I didn't cut myself with the razor blade, which was very good. And then I kind of just worked on rescaping that area to make it a little bit more cohesive, and then I worked on the plants on the background. It's supposed to be like a paludarium, and that's where that Gorilla Glue came in, even though it wasn't safe for fish. I used it to kind of block some of those things. This was an early tank that I didn't do very well, so there was lots of fixing that I did on it. One thing that I didn't touch on, even though you saw it, is that we found some moss. Now this is Arizona, and we found a bunch of really green moss out on the side of a very, very dry riverbed. Like, it was barely a river, other than the fact that I had gravel on the bottom and it was polluted with a ton of trash. So we found that, and we decided to stick that around the place, like around the thing, or I did that, and hopefully that will grow. And then I planted some wandering Jew around there, and then obviously there's the spider plant and the pothos. And I brought the pothos like 2 years ago to Arizona from my house, and I gave that to them. And then they have lots of spider plants and lots of other plants and stuff that the spider plant gives off a lot of pups. So they have a bunch of guppies in here. That was an interesting story. So 2 years ago, when I set this tank up, I found some guppies for free in Arizona somewhere, and it was like far away even. And then we stopped and got a bunch of guppies, and this was very different for them because I mean, I'm like Craigslist and secondhand items and secondhand animals is my whole thing, but they're totally used to just buying stuff, so they thought that was very strange. But the guppies have been doing really great. And we bought two more, and we bought two butterfly loaches. Now, they are from Asia, and they have been to, like, Asian markets and stuff, so they're used to buying fish for, like, ridiculously cheap prices like they did back in Singapore, and that is not how it is in here. So they were surprised with how much we paid for two butterfly loaches and just two. We bought two male guppies, I think, the yellow and black ones, which is not what's on screen right now. I'm just looking at a ton of detritus. But yeah, I wanted to film a lot of this tank because I wanted to have footage to put into this video. and I guess I succeeded in that, but it's kind of strange what I was filming. You can kind of see in the back there's some like detritus and stuff and crap, literally, that is moving around back there. It's kind of like swaying around, and that's because of how the system goes. So there is, all the way to the right, there's a pump, and then through the background is a tube that goes to the top part. So then the pump pumps it into there. And then here's a butterfly loach. The butterfly loaches are really cool. I think they're awesome little fish, and we got 2 of them for this tank. What I thought was cool about this tank is because this is like a river biosphere, kind of, not really, is that there's lots of water flow. So as you can see, that's kind of what the butterfly loach was made for. I think that, like, it's a hill stream loach, I believe. So it's kind of made for sticking onto these smooth stones, as are in this tank. And then what's also kind of neat about it is that since they're kind of made for that, they're also made for very established aquariums. So these are this is a very established aquarium, lots of detritus, but mainly lots of algae and stuff, which I think looks really nice and looks really cool. I actually love this tank because it is a polyudarium, but it also has lots of fish. It's very active, and it has lots of plants, and it has lots of algae and lots of roots, and it's just overall really, really well done, I think. Even with the background, because as you haven't seen a lot about the background, but it's expanding foam that wasn't well installed, with rocks kind of randomly thrown in there, and then it had clear silicone put on it with sand. So it's basically just the color of expanding foam, and that's really kind of unfortunate, and so is my playing with the camera. But it's kind of unfortunate that I built it this way, but I think this was one of my very first, like, I don't even know if I had done Darwin's tank yet. Maybe I'd probably done the 20-gallon tall, which I think was my first expanding foam build, and then I did Darwin's tank sometime after that. Or I could be getting those two wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. Yeah, because Darwin was put into the 20-gallon tall, then I did a 30-gallon tall for Darwin, and then Teddy was in the 20-gallon tall. So that's how that worked. But that might not make any sense if you don't know what I'm talking about. So we have 2 hill stream loaches in here. They did pretty well, and from what I've heard, they have done well since I left and everything, because it's been quite a few months now. And the fish tank's kind of just something going on in the background in their house, and in my opinion, it looks really nice, and it's really cool. And I think that's great because it has, we used all like Arizona stuff, so we got pretty much everything we just found around as far as the building materials and rocks. So like we found things, we went on different hikes and stuff. The gravel is from the Dry River bed, and then the stones are from something they were building, so they're probably from a landscaping company. The stones that are in fact like river stones. But as you can see here, there's the hill stream loach that's kind of helping maintain things in the aquarium. And I just think they're really cool little fascinating fish that are really fun. And I don't buy plants, or I don't buy fish or anything myself, and I did buy these ones for him, and I just don't do that because I like to just rescue things as that happens, and it kind of makes me end up keeping rather cheaper fish that are maybe not as interesting, but it kind of makes me appreciate these more, and I just think they're really awesome. So that's kind of what happened with this tank, and I filmed a bunch, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this just update on this build, because I certainly enjoyed doing it. If you did in fact enjoy this video, feel free to like it down below. If you have any comments or concerns, comments below, and if for more content, then subscribe. Have a fantastic day.